This is a little bit of a deeper look at the Splinter deck, a Radical Rat. So to start, this is a little bit of a deeper look into the Splinter deck, Radical Rat. So we've got Splinter. If an ability of a ninja creature you control triggers, that ability triggers an additional time. So, yay. We have quite a few ninjas, so hopefully we can have their triggers get double that value. As well as for 1 and a blue, ninjas can't be blocked this turn. So we got some evasion, and we can pay into that as many times as we have mana. So that'll help out getting through damage or getting some triggers to go off. So to start, we've got Turtle Layer because of the third line there with paying 3 and tap it. So target ninja or turtle can't be blocked this turn. So a bit more evasion to get your ninjas through. We've got April O'Neil. When she enters, you scry 2. So that's a nice little bonus there. Sneak in something, bring her back to hand, bring her back out, scry 2. She can't be blocked by creatures with power 3 or greater. So that's a little evasion there to help get your sneak off. We got High Flying Ace. He's got flying. If you pay 3 and a white, target creature without flying gains flying till end of turn. So again, we can give other creatures some evasion, hopefully, so we can get our sneaks off. We've got Leo's Katana. Equipped creature gets +2/+2 and has protection from black and red. That might help you evade a little bit there. When it deals combat damage to a player, destroy up to 1 target planeswalker and up to 1 target artifact. So we've got some removal built into that one as well. With Prehistoric Pet here, it can't be blocked by creatures with greater power. So we've got a bit of evasion there. If you just want to bring some things back to hand, whether it's your sneak creatures or trying to protect a creature, pay 1 and a white to tap it to return another target creature you control to its owner's hand. You can only do that on your turn, though. And we've got Together Forever. When it enters, you could support 2, so put +1/+1 counter on each of up to 2 target creatures. If you pay 1, choose target creature with a counter on it. When that creature dies this turn, return that card to its owner's hand. So we can protect our creatures that are blocked, as long as they have +1 counters on it. So let's look at what kind of sneak cards we have in this deck. We've got Splinter. Sneak is 1 black. He's got Menace, and other creatures you control get +1/+1. He only costs 1 and a black to cast, so I most likely won't be sneaking this creature in, but you never know if you want to reuse an enter the battlefield trigger of another creature. We've got Foot Ninjas. They cost 4 and either white, black. But they've got a sneak of 3 in white, black. It's a 5/5. When this creature enters, you gain 3 life. We've got Leonardo, Cutting Edge. He's got a sneak of 1. Lifelink. Whenever you gain life, you put a +1/+1 counter on him. So right away, if we can sneak him in, we can take advantage of that ability. And if Splinter's out, take advantage of it twice. We got Leonardo, Big Brother, sneak of 1. Leonardo gets +1/+0 for each other creature you control. We've got Shredder Unrelenting. He's got a sneak of 3 and a black. Death Touch. Whenever Shredder enters or attacks, another target creature you control gains Death Touch till end of turn. We've got Kyrie. He's got a sneak of 2 white and a black. Whenever Kyrie deals combat damage to a player, return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. If her sneak cost was paid this turn, instead return that card to the battlefield. We got Shark Shredder. Sneak of 3 and a black. First strike, whenever a Shark Shredder deals combat damage to a player, put up to 1 target creature card from that player's graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. It enters tapped and attacking that player. We've got Leonardo, leader in blue. He's 1 white. Sneak of 3 white. When Leonardo enters, if his sneak cost was paid, creatures you control get +2/+0 till end of turn. Not something I'd likely do. Probably just bring him in for 1, but the option is there. For 1 and a white, Leonardo gains first strike till end of turn. Got a Rokosaki. Sneak of 1 and a black. When a Rokosaki deals combat damage to a player, you draw a card and lose 1 life. I guess I kind of forgot to say what Sneak does. You may cast this spell for 1 and a black, in this case. If you also return an unblocked attacker you control to hand during the declare blocker step, he enters tapped and attacking. Similar to ninjutsu. We've got Dark Leo and Shredder. It's got Sneak, white and a black. Attacking ninjas you control have Death Touch. And whenever Dark Leo and Shredder deal combat damage to a player, create a 1/1 black ninja creature token. Then, if you control 5 or more ninjas, that player loses half their life rounded up. So that could be pretty devastating. And because I didn't have a space for Yuffie in my Final Fantasy decks, Yuffie is here with the Ninja Turtles. So she's got Commander Ninjutsu, blue and black, fairly similar to Sneak. Whenever a ninja you control deals combat damage to a player, reveal the top card of your library and put that card into your hand. Each opponent loses life equal to that card's mana value. So a little draw engine there and damage for all. Some more non-creature Sneak cards we have is Donatello's Technique. So instead of playing 2 and a blue, you're paying 1 blue. You get to draw 2 cards. We have Splinter's Technique. Instead of 3 and a black, you could pay 1 and a black. Search your library for a card, put that card into your hand, then shuffle. Little tutor there. We've got Leonardo's Technique for 3 and a white, but instead you can pay 1 and a white and return 1 or 2 target creature cards, each with mana value of 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. So a little recursion, bring something back, or a couple of things back. Kyrie's Technique. You could choose 1 or both. Why not both? Target creature gets +3/+3 till end of turn. Target creature gets -3/-3 till end of turn. A little surprise for your opponents. Got Kitsune's Technique. It costs 4 blue. This doesn't do too much because you're not really a mill deck, but sometimes milling's fun, because in this case, for sneaking in 1 and a blue, target opponent mills half their library rounded up. It's just kind of funny. We've got the Last Ronin's Technique. So instead of 3 and a white, You can pay 1 and a white, create 3 1/1 white ninja turtle spirit creature tokens. If this spell's sneak cost was paid, they enter tapped and attacking. And then we have Shredder's Technique. So instead of 2 and a black, you can pay 1 black. Destroy target creature or enchantment. If an enchantment was destroyed this way, you lose 2 life. A lot of the time, if you're destroying an enchantment, it's worth paying that 2 life. So let's look at what kind of creatures we'll be bringing in and what kind of creatures we hope won't be blocked and we'll be sending back to our hands so we can cast them again. Well, you could sneak out something with sneak so you can do it over and over again, but sometimes these enter the battlefield techniques are nice, or enter the battlefield triggers. So we got the Mighty Mutantables for 2 and white. When this creature enters, create a 2/2 red mutant creature token. Whenever another creature you control enters, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. So 2 really nice things going on here. We've got Featherbrain Filcher for 1 white. It's got flying, so it's got some evasion. When this creature leaves the battlefield, create a food token. So a bit of token making and life gain there. We got Splinter, Aging Champion for 2 and a white. When Splinter enters, destroy up to 1 target tapped creature. When Splinter leaves the battlefield, you and another target player each draw a card. So we got some card draw when he leaves and destroying when he enters. We've got Koya, Death from Above. We've got Flying. When he enters, exile up to 1 other target creature. At the beginning of the next end step, you may pay 3 and a black if you don't return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. So you could do it to your own creature if you want it to recur. Or you can permanently get rid of somebody else's creature for an extra cost of 3 and a black. We've also got Sally Pride. When Sally Pride enters, create X 2/2 red mutant creature tokens, where X is the number of non-token creatures you control. Whenever Sally Pride attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. That'll help with Together Forever and buffing your creatures. We got the Foot Mystic. It's got lifelink and Disappear. When this creature enters, if a permanent left the battlefield under your control this turn, create a 1/1 black ninja creature token. So we are hoping something will be leaving the battlefield and entering with your sneak. We've got Krang and Shredder for 4 and blue-black. Whenever Krang and Shredder enter or attack, each opponent exiles cards from the top of their library until they exile a non-land card. Disappear. At the beginning of your end step, if a permanent left the battlefield under your control this turn, you may cast a card exiled with Krang and Shredder without paying its mana cost. That's pretty exciting. We got Splinter and Leo, Father and Son. When Splinter and Leo enter, choose one or both. Each mode must target a different player. So you might, unless you politic, you might not be choosing both. But target player creates a 2/2 red mutant creature token, or put a +1/+1 counter on each other creature target player controls. We've got Armagon, Future Shark. It's got Flash. It costs 6 and 2 black, but when it enters, destroy up to 3 target creatures. So we've got some removal there. And it's a 9/6, so that could be pretty scary. We've also got Renette. It's got Flash. When Renette enters, return each other non-land permanent that entered this turn to owner's hand. So you can mess people up on their turns when they've brought out a whole bunch of treasure or a whole bunch of clues, tokens, creatures, whatnot, and make them pretty much rewind everything except without the mana anymore. Like a little board wipe for new things. And we have a few other things that care about creatures entering or leaving, like Ninja Teen. Whenever a creature you control leaves the battlefield, each opponent loses 1 life. So you got a bit of damage going around there, or life loss going around. If you pay 1 and a black, creatures you control get +1/+0 and have menace, so we can give our creatures a little more evasion. If we pay a black to bring it to level 3, creature cards in your graveyard have sneak, 3 and a black. You may cast creature spells from your graveyard using their sneak abilities. So that's pretty sweet. We've got Leader's Talent. Whenever you attack, put a +1/+1 counter on target attacking creature. A little buff. If you pay 2 and a white to level 2, whenever a creature you control leaves the battlefield, if it had a counter on it, you gain 2 life. So a little bit of life gain there for sneaking out creatures or whatnot that have had +1 counters on it, or I guess if they die. And if we pay 3 and a white to bring it to level 3, whenever you cast a spell, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. That's also very nice. We have Madame Null. She's got Death Touch. Whenever another creature you control enters, you may pay life equal to its power. If you do, put that many +1/+1 counters on it. So that life gain could be nice if you start paying into Madame Null. We've got Lita. Whenever another creature you control enters, choose one that hasn't been chosen this turn. So you can put a +1/+1 counter on Lita, create a food token, or scry 1. So we're going to bring Lita off the battlefield and back so we can utilize those once again. And we've got the Quintessential Katana for 1. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has whenever this creature deals combat damage, untap it, and you gain 2 life. Again, a little bit of life gain. Whenever a ninja you control enters, you may attach this equipment to it. So every time you bring in a new creature, they get a katana. So, of course, with all these enter the battlefield things, triggers that we've got, we don't just want to rely on sneak. So we have Don and Leo Problem Solvers. It's got Vigilance. At the beginning of your end step, exile up to 1 target artifact you control and up to 1 target creature you control. Then return them to the battlefield under their owner's control. So we can take advantage of those enter the battlefield triggers, as well as Teleportation Circle. At the beginning of your end step, exile up to 1 target artifact or creature you control, then return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. Now, we do have a lot of creatures with triggers, not many artifacts, but we do have some. So we've got Donatello, Way with Machines. He's got Flying, and whenever an artifact you control enters, you put a +1/+1 counter on Donatello. As for artifacts, we've got Shredder's Armor. Equipped creature gets +2/+1, and when the equipment enters, attach it to target creature you control. To equip it, you sacrifice another non-land permanent. Activate only once each turn, but if you blink it with the Teleportation Circle or Don and Leo, you don't have to worry about paying that equip cost. We've got the Omni Cheese Pizza. When this artifact enters, draw a card. So you could sacrifice the artifact, pay 1, sack it to add 1 mana of any color, or pay 2, sack it, you gain 3 life. You're probably not going to do that. It's mostly there so you could remove it with Don and Leo or the Teleportation Circle, bring it back, and you get to draw a card. Same with the Anchovy and Banana Pizza. When this artifact enters, destroy target creature. So you could do that over and over again. Obviously not doing it when the opponent has no creatures because you don't want to destroy one of your own. I guess optionally you can pay 2 and sack it so you can gain 3 life. Probably not going to do that though. We're going to look to blinking it. So we have creature destruction, or yeah. And we have the bespoke bow. When this equipment enters, return up to 1 other target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. And equipped creature gets +2/+1 and has vigilance. Probably not going to equip it. Probably going to blink it. And you could return your creatures, or you can return an opponent's creatures. So we could take advantage of that. Blink it out. Return whichever you want. Other cards in the deck we've got some removal. Retro Mutagen. It's got flash. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature is a turtle with base power and toughness of 0/1. It can't attack and loses all abilities. We have Grounded for life. It costs 3 less to cast if it targets a tapped creature, and you can destroy target creature. We have Make Your Move. Destroy target artifact, enchantment, or creature with power 4 or greater. It's nice to have the options of the artifacts and enchantments to destroy. We've got Path to Exile. Exile target creature. Its controller may search their library for a basic land card. Put that card onto the battlefield tapped and shuffle. Remember, if you need ramp, you can always do that to yourself. Death in the Family. Exile target creature with mana value 3 or less. We've got Turtles in Time. Return all creatures to their owner's hands. Each player may shuffle their hand and graveyard into their library. Then each player who does draws 7 cards. Then we can exile Turtles in Time. We've got Vanquish the Horde. It's a little brutal. If you're falling behind and you really need to board wipe, it costs 1 less to cast for each creature on the battlefield, and you destroy all creatures. So potentially it could cost just 2 white. We have Raph's Jit. So I've got this in the removal because when it deals combat damage, or when equipped creature deals combat damage, put 2 charge counters on Raph's Jit. Remove a charge counter from Raph's Jit and choose 1. Equipped creature gets +2/+2. Target creature gets -1/-1 till end of turn, or you gain 2 life. The -1/-1 could potentially be removal if you start building up these charge counters, removing them and taking out creatures. And we've got Ronin's Arsenal. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each color among permanents you control. It's mostly there because you're shutting down the opponent with the second part. As long as the equipment is attached to a creature, your opponents can't cast spells during your turn. I think I'm sick because my throat. So other cards we have here is April, Reporter of the Weird. When April deals combat damage to a player, draw that many cards and discard a card. We've got April O'Neil, Hacktivist. At the beginning of your end step, draw a card for each card type among spells you've cast this turn. Got Mondo Gecko. Pay 1, discard a card until end of turn. Mondo Gecko becomes color of your choice and gains hexproof from that color. And whenever Mondo Gecko deals combat damage to a player, draw a card for each color among permanents you control. So you could potentially get up to 3, 4. 3 without doing that thing. 4 by changing them to red or black. I mean, not black. You're black. Red or green. We've got Trouble in Pairs. If an opponent would begin an extra turn, that player skips that turn instead. Whenever an opponent attacks you with 2 or more creatures, draws their second card each turn, or casts their second spell each turn, you draw a card. So it's great to stop the extra turns, but it's also very good for the card draw. And we've got an Arcane Signet. just for a mana of any color in your commander's color. Last few miscellaneous cards we have in the deck is Turtles Forever. You can search our library and or outside the game for exactly 4 legendary creature cards we own with different names. Then reveal those cards. An opponent chooses 2 of them, put the chosen cards into your hand, and shuffle the rest into your library. We've got Leo's Guidance, so you can put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to 3 target creatures and untap them. Foot Elite, for a little bit of a buff. Whenever this creature attacks, another target creature you control gets +1/+0 and gains indestructible till end of turn. Got Shredder, Shadow Master. When Shredder attacks a player, for each other opponent, create a token that's a copy of Shredder tapped and attacking that player, except it isn't legendary, and sacrifice those tokens at the end of combat. So a little bit of Mirad. Whenever Shredder deals combat damage to a player, that player loses half their life rounded up. So Mirad with devastating effects. And we've got Leonardo, Worldly Warrior. It costs 1 less to cast for each creature you control, and he's got double strike, and he's a 5/5. So, got a few creatures out. You could potentially make it really cheap to bring out for a 5/5 with double strike. And that was more of an in-depth look at the Splinter deck. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it gave some ideas. And thank you.